What up, though? Realest one. RIP to my uncle, real quick. He passed away right before the holidays. Reason I'm bringing him up is because he was the one who had this saying. I'm pretty sure anybody listening has heard it. Um, Ironically, considering this topic that I'm touching on, what he said was, "You can't choose who your family is, right? The damnedest thing, the realest thing, the truest thing. So simple." Family. What is family anyway? I feel like people throw that word around too loosely for my liking. But then again, not everybody has those experiences with family. The experiences where they show that they're actually the complete opposite. It's a shame to say, but that homeless man in the alleyway might be more of a family member than your actually family member, than your actual family members. It's a shame to say, but yeah. hmm Family consists of this the mutual respect, love, compassion, loyalty, and overall blood relation. But then this is the part where I throw in the saying that I like to say: just because you related to a motherfucker don't mean that that's your family. Just because a person is a relative does not mean that they are a family member, right? You got to know how to separate the two. And for me, it has always been quite easy. Quite easy. I always, just like everybody else, I had a cousin. Most people in the world, they had that one cousin that was their favorite cousin that they always were around, that they referred to as their brother or their sister. Came up to the sandbox with him. As babies, we was in the damn tub together. Our mothers went back years. Our families went back years. you know, um, married into each other. Our individual families married into each other, which made him, like a cousin. But I looked at him as a brother, treated him as such. But he didn't always treat me like that, right? I don't say that for a pity reason either. I'm getting somewhere with this. Just walk with me, walk with me. There ain't no specific timeline for this story because from what I remember, it's always been this way. The boy was a thief, man. He was a damn klepto. But I'm getting sidetracked and, getting into another lane here. When I look back on it, it might have been one of them situations where it was like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, you know? But people have choices. So, he was like, anytime he stole from me, it was either one or two things. Either I would get it back or I would say to myself, oh, maybe his mom did buy it from him, did buy it for him. Maybe he did find it this place or that place. But I think that was just me making excuses, mind you, with kids at the time. So the way you comprehend it as an adult that a person is stealing from you as a kid, it's just like, this is my cousin. That's just what he does. Don't trip. That's him. You know what I mean? Like, that's my cousin, man. Like, he ain't gonna do nothing to hurt me. So what? He took my Game Boy. I got it back. You know what I mean? Remember those green Game Boys? Game Boy Color? I remember mine that went missing. I go to his house. I see it on his table in the living room. And, it's like I had never seen him with a green Game Boy all the time that I knew him. He had one, but it wasn't that. Confront him about it. He says, I found it at a basketball court. Huh? Similar to another time, it was like 2003. I remember G Unit, 50 Cent had dropped an album. Um, Beg for Mercy. I remember that joint like it was yesterday. My favorite album. Edited, of course, because I was a kid. It was like out of sight, out of mind. The album had went missing. The CD went missing. And I never really thought about it until I went to his house and I find out exactly why it has been missing for so long. I walk in and on his nightstand, what do I see? My damn 50 Cent G Unit album. I ask him about it and he gives me this laugh where he's like laughing, he's like smirking, you know. And he know what's up. He know I'm not no damn fool, but he knows that I always gave him passes. He said his mom bought it for him. You know, and I guess in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, his mom probably did buy it for him. You know, she worked a nice job. You know what I'm saying? But even the situation where I walk into the room, I leave him in my room for a few minutes, come back, you know, after he able to, you know, when you got cousins over as kids, you know, they eat your food, go in your refrigerator, go in your cabinets or whatever. Like my house is your house type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like a real brother be there. So even then, when you treat it as such of a brother through all those years, right? Anytime you come over here, I leave, come back, and find you putting my game under your damn shirt. And he's giving me that stupid ass laugh, that smirk, and says to me, I'm just playing. I let it go every single time. Every single time. But you know, the only thing worse than that is your family member stealing from you when you introduce them to somebody else and they do the same thing to them, fam. And it puts you in a situation where your cousin steals from your best friend. Now you got to figure out who to ride with. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I introduced him to a good friend of mine that I met in school at that time. They built their own little rapport or whatever. You know, I always told my friend, watch him because he do steal. You know what I mean? It was the norm. Like, if anybody was introduced to him, like, watch out for me, steal now. It was just the norm, man. We was kids. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, man, he cool, but he do steal. You know, and it just, but anyway, he was fixated with this one game that my friend had. He ends up borrowing it, bringing it back, boom. But then one day while we at school, we leaving school, my friend tells me, yo, I think your cousin stole my game. I need you to roll with me to his house because he didn't live that far from the school. I don't remember what my reaction was. In the back of my mind, I probably threw my hands up in the air like, you know. I walked with him to his house. And the way his apartment was, you could see through the window and into his bedroom on the ground floor. And the door was right there that you knock and ring the bell. We see him, he's in there playing games. And he's like, yo, look, there go my game on the nightstand right there. So I'm like, stay here, let me go ring the bell, let me knock on the door. Boom, his mother comes to the door, you know. She opens it, she says to him, it's, you know, it's Realest or whatever. And my friend was like, yo, I just seen this fool run across run across the room to grab the game off the nightstand. He just went and put it under his bed. Because you know we about to come in. He had to hide it. He had to relocate the game, right? We walk in there, my friend walked right past him, goes right to the bed, lifts it up, like, really, dude? Like he didn't expect that. Like we was looking at you. We seen you move that damn game and put it under your bed. You was really trying to keep this man game, bro. I introduced you to this dude. You know what I mean? Things like that, man. And I'm pretty sure there are other instances, but I just ain't no long drawn out story right here. I just say all this to say, you know, oh yeah, I feel like I gotta add this part in too. It's crazy how when people do certain things as kids, it's either one or two things. It's either it's a phase as a child or it's a sign of things to come in the future. And it was definitely a sign of things to come in the future. Later on in life, when I had stopped like dealing with him, you know, um, he stopped just taking video games and taking CDs because he was on the big and better things. He ended up in a situation where he had broken to a woman's house that actually knew him and knew his mother, knew him as a kid. And like, wait a minute, aren't you? And he ends up hitting her in her damn face with the butt of the gun. Bow. Right? Ends up getting locked up for that. So the things he did as a kid came back and haunted him later on in life. Right? Stole from your family all those years, and now you stealing from complete strangers. Where it's like you're not gonna get that same past that you got from me dealing with me all those years. Somebody gonna end up hurting you or worse, you know. But it's not my concern anymore because I don't deal with him. But I also don't wish him nothing. You know what I mean? But I just say all this to say, man, family is not really family. Not all the time. It's not always family. You can be related to a person all you want. You can be from the same family all you want, but it doesn't mean that they have the same principle, the same morals as you. It doesn't mean that they were necessarily cut from the same cloth as you. They're still a completely different person than you. They have their own brain, their own mind, their own personality, and their own intentions. And they are not thinking about the fact that y'all have the same DNA or the same uncle, aunt, grandmother, hell, father, mother. You understand? The same people that are supposed to be the first ones we can go to in our time of need, supposed to protect us, so on and so forth. Sometimes can be the same people to be the reason for why we need protecting. That's a damn shame. Realest one, man. Y'all leave your own comments or stories, instances where you had situations with your family, because I've heard plenty of story. I've heard even worse than mine. I know situations where two sisters fought over the same man. You know what I mean? Like, it's wicked out here, man. And it don't stop at friends and associates. You understand? The stranger across the street may be more of a brother than your actual brother. You hear me? Just for a final example. Realest one, I'm out.